Thanks for joining us today. Welcome to the video series on the 6 functions of problem exploration for the change and implementation process. This series is produced by the Capacity Building Center for States and funded by the Children's Bureau. In this module, we're going to break down the 5th step in problem exploration, exploring and validating possible root causes. Remember, at this point, a team has already identified the problem, created a data plan to explore the problem, collected and analyzed data, and identified possible contributing factors and root causes, before moving on to isolating the root cause or causes to address. In this video, we will talk about exploring possible root causes and using data to validate them. Let's get started. Once a team has identified what they believe to be the root cause of the problem, it is important to take time to determine if data validates it as the true root cause. Does data support what the team found as contributing factors and possible root causes? How is the team communicating and gathering consensus about potential root causes with stakeholders? Taking time to revisit data, validating as many of the connections in the pathway between contributing factors and potential root causes, helps teams align on the true root cause or causes before moving forward towards possible solutions. At this point in problem exploration, it may be a good time for teams to revisit and further analyze data gathered during the collecting and analyzing the data task. Teams may explore external data sources such as partner data or research, ask for help from specialists to do deeper analysis, or look to new data sources to confirm ideas, including surveys and focus groups, where they can ask specific questions about the possible root causes. While teams might not be able to find data for every connection between contributing factors and the identified root cause or causes, they should make an attempt to find evidence for as many as possible. Data will help not only support and validate potential root causes, but also rule out unsupported ones. Using the example from the brief, some possible sources of additional data might include surveys or focus groups to explore caseworker attitudes, case review data with fathers, administrative data to verify assessments, data that shows participation of fathers in system-level meetings, or even external research on father engagement in child welfare programs. It may seem obvious to think about whether a root cause is feasible to address, but there are a lot of factors that can influence team capacity to impact the problem. External factors like stakeholder perspectives, legislation or community engagement in the issue, or internal factors like agency culture or capacity can have a big impact on the feasibility of addressing the root cause identified. Recognizing barriers is an important part of the process, and the root cause or problem may still need to be addressed with considerations on how the team will work to overcome them. Some considerations include how it will impact agency culture, policies, and practice models, the staff that may be needed to implement the change, training for all levels of staff that may be engaged in the effort, as well as any additional supports required, such as monitoring systems and internal or external partnerships. Teams should consider all of the elements that could help or hinder addressing this root cause. Is there data or research to support the identified root cause or causes? Is there consensus among stakeholders on the root cause or causes? Are there external or internal factors that affect the problem and its root cause or causes? Is there organizational and community support to address the root cause or causes? Answering these questions together as a team will help clearly identify the root cause and understand what resources or supports are needed to address it. Let's check back in with our example. After narrowing in on 2 possible root causes, the team took time to look at data to see if it confirmed their hypotheses. They began by identifying internal and external data sources to help validate each, including surveys to explore attitudes and beliefs within the agency, case review data specific to engagement of fathers, and external research on the link between father engagement and family outcomes. They also took time to consider how feasible it would be to address each root cause and explored the supports they might need in order to address them, including updates to policies and practices, staff assignments for implementation, development of training, and improvements to technology. Let's take a moment now to consider what the team's next step might be. Have they fully explored the problem? What do they need to do next to take action on what they've discovered? The next step in problem exploration is to isolate the root cause or causes to address. Let's take a moment to check in on what we've learned about exploring and validating root causes. Why do teams explore and validate possible root causes? To address the true root cause before working to address it. How do teams explore and validate possible root causes? By exploring additional data and the feasibility of addressing the root cause. What can help teams to explore and validate possible root causes? By engaging partners and experts in data analysis, using research to gather relevant data, and considering all factors that influence ability to address the root cause. Now, take this a step further by reviewing the reflection questions for Explore and Validate Possible Root Causes in the Problem Exploration Workbook. Up next is the sixth and final function in problem exploration: isolate the root cause or causes to address.